Okay, let's dive right into this. We're talking about a huge, fundamental shift that's coming to Unity, which is, one of the biggest game engines on the planet. And this isn't just some minor update. It's a complete top-to-bottom overhaul that's been in the works for years. And it's all designed to fix a problem that has been driving developers crazy for almost a decade. And really, it all kicks off with a pain point that, if you're a Unity dev, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This quote from a developer on Reddit just nails it. It perfectly captures that daily frustration, that feeling of being stuck, watching a progress bar instead of actually making your game. So you gotta ask, right? Why has this been the reality for so long? What's really going on under the hood? And more importantly, what exactly is this long merge project that Unity says is going to change everything starting in 2026? Let's get into it. First up, we have to understand the daily grind, the core problem that developers run into every single day. We'll call it the endless reload. So picture this. You're in the zone, you change one little line of code, maybe you just fix a typo or add a comment. The second you hit save, boom, the Unity editor just freezes. It has to do this thing called a domain reload, where it basically unloads and then reloads all of your code. It absolutely kills your creative flow and just destroys productivity. And we're not talking about a quick little hiccup here. As you can see, developers are regularly waiting 15 seconds, 30 seconds, sometimes over a full minute for one tiny change, especially in bigger projects. Now just imagine that happening dozens, maybe even hundreds of times a day. That lost time piles up fast. Now look, developers are smart, right? They've cooked up workarounds like assembly definitions to break up their code and speed up the compilation part. But here's the thing, that's only a band-aid. It doesn't fix the real problem, which is the slow reload, because the editor still has to load everything back in. It's patching a symptom, not curing the disease. So what is that disease? Well, to get it, we need to talk about this hidden cost that's just baked right into the engine. You can think of it as Unity's performance tax. This tax is basically the extra CPU power your game has to spend on pretty much everything it does. And why? It's because for years, Unity has been running on an old, aging C# runtime called Mono. While the rest of the tech world was upgrading to faster, more modern stuff, Unity's core was getting left behind. And this right here is the heart of the matter. On one side, you have Unity's old-school, legacy Mono runtime, which has become this massive bottleneck. And on the other, you've got the modern, super-optimized .NET CoreCLR. The speed difference between these two isn't small. It's huge. Let's just look at the raw numbers, because they don't lie. This benchmark ran a real-world game simulation. On Unity's Mono, it took a full 30 seconds. That exact same code running on the modern .NET CoreCLR, just 12 seconds. That's 2.5 times faster, just from swapping out the runtime. And if you're a visual person, here it is. It's not even close, is it? You can literally see how much performance tax is being paid on the left, and just how much faster things could be. This is a whole generational leap in speed we're talking about. But hold on, it gets even crazier. In some very specific tests, focusing on things where Mono is particularly weak, the performance gap just explodes. The modern .NET runtime was found to be up to 15 times faster. I mean, that's just a whole different league. Now, here's the kicker. Unity has known about this for a long time. They first started talking about moving to CoreCLR way back in 2018. But as this timeline shows, years and years have gone by and developers are still waiting. It's been a long and, let's be honest, pretty frustrating road to get this thing fixed. Which brings us finally to the big fix. This incredibly ambitious, super high-stakes project that Unity is calling the Long Merge. And seriously, you should think of it like a digital heart transplant for the whole engine. It's not just swapping out one piece. It's about two massive changes. First, ripping out that old, slow Mono runtime and putting in the modern CoreCLR. And second, merging two completely separate worlds that have been living inside Unity for years. So for years, you had these two separate worlds inside Unity, the easy-to-use game object system that everyone knows, and the super-fast, high-performance ECS system. You kind of had to choose one or the other. The Long Merge is all about smashing those two worlds together, making ECS a core part of the engine so developers can get the performance of ECS with the ease of game objects. So when you boil it all down, the goals are pretty simple, but they're huge. 1. Supercharge performance by swapping out the engine's core. 2. Unify the engine so you don't have to choose between easy and fast. And 3, and this is the big one for a lot of people, finally, kill that endless wait, that domain reload that has been such a productivity killer for so long. But wait, there's another massive piece to this puzzle. There's this huge external force that's basically pushing Unity to do this now, and that force is the rise of spatial computing. So why the huge rush? Why is this raw performance so non-negotiable all of a sudden? Well, the game has changed. We're seeing this whole new type of computing emerge, with devices like Apple's Visual Pro leading the charge. To even play in this new space, Unity had to create a technology called PolySpatial. You can think of it as this super smart translator. It takes all the stuff you build in Unity and makes it work in the native environment of platforms like visionOS, allowing your digital creations to exist alongside the real world. But see, this new world plays by a whole new set of very strict rules. Unity isn't in total control anymore. The operating system handles the rendering, you have to convert all your shaders, and there are really tight limits on how many objects you can have. All of that translation and all those new rules demand way more performance than the old mono runtime could ever deliver. It just wasn't going to cut it. No way. Okay, so let's wrap this all up. What does all of this massive, years-in-the-making overhaul actually mean for the developers on the ground, the people building the next generation of games and apps? Well, it's pretty much a new era for Unity. We're looking at a massive performance boost, your code running anywhere from 2 to 5 times faster. Iteration is going to be way quicker, with those painful reloads hopefully becoming a bad memory. Devs will get access to years of modern C# features they've been missing out on. The engine will be unified, so no more tough choices between simplicity and speed. And maybe most importantly, it future-proofs the engine for the really demanding world of spatial computing. At the end of the day, this long merge is a huge gamble. It's a massive bet to pay off a decade of technical debt and totally reshape the engine from the inside out. The real question is, will it work? And if it does, will it be the thing that redefines the entire next chapter of real-time 3D? I guess we'll have to wait and see.